I am pleased to kick off the program for the Alumni Award ceremony, which includes recognition of 4 Swans for their achievements. I will also announce which milestone class has prevailed in the annual Count Me In Challenge. First up, the Social Justice Scholars Alumni Award. Presented by the Social Justice Mission Scholars, this award is given annually to a Swan who has demonstrated a deep and abiding commitment to causes of social justice. To present this year's award, please welcome to the podium last year's recipient of the Social Justice Mission Scholars Alumni Award, Sarah George, JD 10.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I feel very short at this podium. I'm so grateful for the nice weather today. I feel like days like today are exactly why we hold out through the winter, those of us who stayed in Vermont anyway. I have not been at the school with this year's recipient, Moon Clifford, since we graduated in 2010. Or the others at our table. I'm really grateful to be back, and it's so interesting to see where your classmates go after law school. Over the last 12 years, talking to so many classmates or finding out what classmates are up to that are either not doing law anymore or they might be doing areas of law that I know nothing about, but I'm just grateful that they're happy. And then there's other classmates, like this year's recipient, Moon, that you hear what they're doing and you realize that for me, as the Chittenden County State's Attorney in Burlington, Vermont, and Moon working down as the housing director and legal aid in Harlem, how much our worlds actually overlap and our work overlaps. Moon and others doing this work understand that housing justice is racial justice, is criminal justice, and that the more we can prop up leaders and the work that Moon is doing to ensure that folks have secure and stable housing, the less likely those folks are to end up in other systems that will absolutely oppress them. And I'm really grateful to know that she's doing that work and that she's lifting that work up so that the other systems don't get a hold of those folks in the same way as they would. Moon is such a perfect example of a brilliant woman who is using her life experience to guide her passion and her work, and we're so grateful to have her in that work. Even if it is in Harlem, it does impact the work even that we have going on here in Vermont. So as last year's recipient of this award, but also just as a friend and classmate of Moon, I am very, very honored to be here today to present her with this year's Social Justice Award.
Well, this is very heavy. Wow. All right. I'm just going to slide down. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Social Justice Mission Scholars. And thank you to my friend and colleague, Helena Dell, who nominated me for this award. So as a kid, I always had an innate sense of right and wrong. I was pretty obnoxious about it. In primary school in Nigeria, which is the equivalent of grade school, I was appointed to be the prefect. I got a little badge and everything. This meant that I was the kid in charge. Whenever the teacher stepped out of class, I was second in command. It also meant that I was tasked with keeping the list of noisemakers. Your name would go on this list if you made noise or trouble when the teacher left the class. It didn't matter if you were my friend. If you made noise, your name was going on the list. The noisemakers would get in trouble. Needless to say, I didn't have a lot of friends. I share this little anecdote to say that doing the right thing is seldom popular and seldom easy. There will always be obstacles, and you can choose to see the obstacles as an opportunity for growth or as a deterrent. I knew I wanted to be a public interest attorney, but I didn't really know what that would be like or what that would look like. After I graduated law school, I was one of the few folks in my friend group who hadn't gotten a job. I felt like I was the only one who didn't get a job. One day, I accompanied a former classmate to Bedford-Stuyvesant Legal Services to see his old mentor. His old mentor was the director of housing at Bed-Stuy Legal Services. I talked with him for a few minutes, and I was fascinated by the work he was doing. He was going to court every day and battling these awful, unscrupulous landlords who thrived on taking advantage of poor people, collecting unconscionable rents for dilapidated, hazardous apartments, dragging these often unrepresented tenants through a housing court where they would receive 5-minute justice. He sounded like a real-life superhero to me. I realized then that what he described was the work that I wanted to do. New York City Housing Court is a formidable opponent, and the various players that operate within the system, within this historically unjust system, have a lot of work to do. Every day, poor people, often people of color, have to fight to be treated with dignity. Dignity in the form of affordable housing, and dignity in the form of safe housing. It's no secret that housing insecurity is the root cause of other difficulties and adversities that people of color face. It is an uphill battle, but I feel very fortunate to do this work. Over the last 12 years of doing this work, I realized that there is a difference between your job and your work. A job is something you can do. You can have any job. But your work is part of your life's purpose and passion. I believe my work is to advocate for people who don't have the tools to advocate for themselves. This award means a lot to me. It represents an acknowledgement that my work is important, and that there's space in the legal profession for people who do this work. We need more of us. Thank you.
Congratulations, Moon. The next award is the Alumni Service Award. This award is presented to a Swan who has demonstrated exemplary personal service and commitment to Vermont Law School, fellow alumni, and students. Please welcome to the podium Abby Armstrong, JD Class of '84, Director of Career Services. And Beth Locker, Associate Dean for Experiential Learning, to present the Alumni Service Award.
Thank you, Andy. I'm very impressed with you getting up and off this stage. So I have less than a minute. We get 2 minutes between the two of us to talk about Judge Margaret Mangan, who I'm going to call Peg. And you can wave so everybody can see who you are. Okay. She graduated in 1986. I don't know how much information all of you know about her, and I don't have time to talk about it all because it's been 35 years. So I've less than a minute. We've known each other for 35 years. I graduated in 84. She graduated in 86. We overlapped, although I didn't really know you well then. But since she has graduated, became a judicial law clerk in Vermont, worked as a associate in a law firm, did workers' comp hearing for the Vermont Department of Labor, and then in 2007 moved down to DC to do, where she is an administrative law judge with the DC Office of Administrative Hearings. Correct? Yes. Yeah. No notes. Following Sarah George, which is not what I want to be doing. Anyway, so prior to 2007, when she was in Vermont, she mentored scores of students at the Vermont Department of Labor. People who worked for her in the summer, anytime I reached out to her, she said, yes, send me people. They lived with her in her house. She had dinner with them in her house. They argued. She challenged them. She nurtured them. She made them better people. She made them better law students. And it was remarkable. And when she left in 2007, I was invited to the event, the Fare Thee Well up in Montpelier, and I inducted her into the Career Services Hall of Fame. of which there is one person. There should be many more of you. There should be many more of you. Because there are so many wonderful people here without whom career services would be doomed. But off she went to DC and was like, well, maybe we aren't going to work with Peg anymore. Just the opposite. From 2007 to now, she has been not just taking people in the summer, but through the semester in practice program, which is why it's so appropriate for Dean Locker and myself to be doing this together, because our offices have been so impacted by Peg. And the same thing. Anytime we ask, any student, doesn't matter if they're interested in what you do or not, we don't sell it by the content of what your job is, we sell it as it's Peg. And if you want to be a better lawyer or a better person, you want to know Peg Mangan. So anyway, that's what I get to say. And then I switch it over to Dean Locker. I feel very lucky to be involved in this presentation. I'm supposed to forewarn you, when I do give you this bowl, it's very heavy. And I'm going to switch it over to Dean Locker.
Thanks, Abby. I can't call her anything other than judge, but I'm working on it. I did get to meet the judge first when I worked for Abby in career services. There was a career job fair in DC, and she showed up and was wonderful for our students and took them in for the summer. But now, in the last few years, in my role in the externship program, she has been delightful. Over and over again, she takes our calls, and in the middle of the tent is my colleague, Professor Nicole Kaloran, who is usually the one who calls her up and says, we've got a student who's interested, would you consider taking her? And the judge says yes over and over again. We knew we wouldn't have much time to talk today, so what we did in part was reach out to some of those alums who, when they were students externed with the judge, I have a number of notes that we've put out, so we'll let you mostly read them when we hand you the card, and you can do it in your own time, but every one of them who responded had just delightful things to say about her. I'll let the judge look at what the students said, but I am going to read just one very short thing that Professor Kaloran put together, Nicole. And so she said, the first time I heard your name was from the lips of a student who was striking out with other potential externship sites, but whom you gave a chance. Since then, I've seen you take on several students who had potential for growth and improvement, but did not fit the mold of a traditional clerk. Watching you help these aspiring lawyers realize their potential, I learned that the mold of the traditional law clerk is just a construct. What every young lawyer needs is a mentor who will give them candid feedback, give them an opportunity to fail, and give them a runway to try again. I love that you have taken on some of our best students, as well as some that needed a chance, and that you have offered all of them room to grow. So on behalf of Nicole, me, and all the students you've mentored, thank you. We really appreciate your service.
Oh my goodness. It's not that heavy. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, hello, Vermont Law School. Thank you. I'm honored and humbled by this award. How is it that I receive an honor for doing what I love so much? And so I thought I'd tell you about the day I cried in contracts class. But first I'll tell you of my arrival here. In some ways it seems like yesterday that I arrived in South Royalton and at Vermont Law School. That was in 1983. I walked tentatively. Did I belong in law school? Did Dean Jonathan Chase send the acceptance letter to the wrong person? I wondered. I was scared. I was excited and eager to learn, but really wondering if I belonged. In that first year, I had a contract class with Professor David Firestone. Do any of you remember Professor David Firestone? Yes. And it was in that class discussion of a case that I cried. The case was Williams versus Walker Thomas Furniture Company, The judge was Shirley Wright, and the issue was whether the credit terms are unconscionable. The citation, if you're at all interested, is 350 F. 2nd, 445, DC Circuit, 1965. The credit terms in that case provided that nothing was paid off until everything was paid off. And the credit terms were challenged, and Judge Wright struck down the contract as unconscionable. The case included many of the underlying facts. During the class discussion, one of my classmates jokingly asked, "What business does a mother of 7 children have buying new furniture anyhow?" Giggles followed, but not for me. I was sitting in the back row, and tears streamed down my face. You see, I'm one of 7 children. Oh, by the way, I'm number 2, and number 7's sitting right there. Our parents often bought on credit. The question made me so sad. Very sad. But after I recovered from the initial shock, I realized I did belong here. Lawyers should not come only from economic privilege. Vermont Law School realized that, but it took me a little longer to figure it out. I realized how much I had to learn. Yes, I had to learn the law, but I also had to accept that I did not understand that classmate who made the comment any more than they understood me. Let's face it, people aren't always what they seem to be. Vermont Law School taught me that our differences enrich our understanding and help us become better lawyers. Here I stand 39 years later. For decades, I have had a chance to work with many law students from Vermont Law School and many other law schools, usually in the summer, often in a semester in practice. I actively seek students who are different from one another. I hope to understand all of them. And from each intern, I understand that they might doubt their abilities, might wonder if they belong, or believe they are the very best. They are excited, maybe they are scared. My job is to listen and to push a little. Each student comes with a dream and a concern. Can the internship help with both? I don't always know the concern, but I can see when confidence grows and the student relaxes a bit. Students differ from one another because of background, geography, and school. Those differences enrich the experience, and students learn from one another. Vermont Law School students are a vital part of every group I have interning at the Office of Administrative Hearings. But in the process, of course, I learn the most. From their questions, excitement, analysis, youth, and absolute joy. Thank you.
Congratulations, Peg. Actually was one of the first Leader Circle donors I spoke with when I joined Vermont Law School last year. The next award is the VLS Alumni Association Distinguished Alumni Award. This award is given annually to a Swan who exemplifies the school's core values of community, diversity, service, ethics, and justice, and who enhances the reputation of VLS in the greater community. Please welcome to the podium last year's recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award, Alexa Cole, JD, class of 1998.
This is not made for short people. Not that I'm short, but other people. It would be a great pleasure to present this award to any alumni, but it is a particular pleasure to present it to Tom Leary. Captain Tom Leary. I'm constantly demoting him, as he is a particular friend and classmate from the class of 1998. We were perhaps at times unlikely friends, which was really exemplified one day at the laundromat when I had a jumble of laundry with rips and shreds, and he had a very squared away pile of laundry. He ended up in a uniform in the Navy. I ended up in flip-flops at NOAA. Although he's wearing flip-flops today, I will mention. But it's been a pleasure to be your friend for over 20 years now. And it's been really impressive to watch his career and watch the trajectory as he not only honored the uniform that he was wearing, but also the VLS values that we have all incorporated into our lives and have spent our careers trying to live up to. I am now, by the way, distracted because this podium says Gift of David Cole, which is my father's name, but that's not my father. It's a little distracting again. But back to Tom. As I say, it's really an impressive career. He has won accolades. He has been promoted through the Navy. I am not going to remember all the titles of all the impressive things that he has done. But over the years, as we live in this complex and troubling world, particularly at this moment, it gives me great comfort that it is not just someone like Tom, but it is in fact Tom Leary giving advice and counsel to the leaders of our country on these really important issues. I know that he brings to them every day his intelligence, his integrity, his kind-heartedness, and his sense of humor. And for that, I am grateful, and I feel a little bit more reassured about the state of our world. So with that, Tom, Captain Leary. With this, Tom, congratulations to my friend, classmate, and occasional partner in minor crimes.
Pretty good, Lex. That's right. It's not made for all people. Alexa, thank you. VLS, thank you. Oh, wasn't expecting that. It's an honor to share the stage with so many distinguished alumni in their own right, and even to be considered. As I was reflecting on the drive down here from Plattsburgh, New York, and I highly commend Plattsburgh International to anyone who has not had the opportunity. I was reflecting on the words of a naval officer who influenced my career very early on, and he had two axioms that he often conveyed, and he would remind us in dark times, it's not about you, and it's all about your relationships. He wasn't a VLS grad, but I think he could have been from his perspective. And as I was thinking about it on the drive, I realized how unique this institution is. In drawing students like Moon, who have a spark and perhaps even a burning flame in them that they want to bring to the public good, to the greater good, because it's not about you, it's about something bigger than you. And I think this place does a magnificent job of taking whatever the student that's drawn to this place has and nurturing it. And in the nurturing, then we build lifelong relationships. And not just with our fellow students, but with faculty. Abby Armstrong, recognized me. I did not have a full head of hair when I arrived here, I swear. And with the staff, and with the community, and with this institution. And that's why we come back whenever we can. And so it's with sincere appreciation and just humility that I accept this award, knowing that the work I've done along the way has not been about me. It's been about something greater. And it often, in my world, kind of toils a little bit in the silence. You see a lot of what my department does when it goes badly. But we are working hard. We occasionally send emails reminding the president that that tweet may not have been in compliance with the law of armed conflict as we understand it. Maybe it's not quite that way. There's always a tweet. But I want to thank you for allowing me to share the stage with so many distinguished alumni in their own right, whether Alexa or other class of '98 luminaries, and with all of you. I'm truly humbled by this, and just thank you so much.
Okay, so if my staff will correct me if I'm wrong, we are now going to adjust the program slightly and move straight to the Count Me In presentation, which is, of course, the Reunion Alumni Participation Challenge, Milestone Challenge. And Brock, if you could man me on the slides, which I can't see terribly well, so this will be interesting. I have the privilege and great pleasure of revealing the winners of the 2022 Count Me In Reunion Challenge. As you all probably know, Count Me In recognizes giving by members of milestone classes during the current fiscal year leading up to reunion weekend. And Beth, I'm going to give you like a 3-minute warning for you to join me at the podium to accept the checks, again, in about 3 minutes. I want to thank each of the milestone classes for their efforts to encourage alumni giving in order to raise funds for VLS and its vital programs. Your gifts are crucial to the long-term success of the school as we enter the next stage of our evolution. And without further ado, with 6% participation, the class of 2017. With 9% participation, the class of 2012. With 14% participation, the class of 2007. With 8% participation, the class of 2002. With 13% participation, the class of 1997. And with 14% participation, the class of 1987. Now, for our top 3 milestone classes based on participation, when I call your class year, please come to the front and present your class's check to Dean McCormick. Ready?
Always ready for money.
In third place, 19% participation, and having raised $6,984.33 for VLS, is the class of 1977.
Oh, I'll get there quick. I can't run. I think I have something for you. Thank you. Can I keep that?
And I will say the next two, this was an incredibly competitive race. In second place, with 31% participation, and having raised $16,273.30, is the class of 1992.
Good job.
And in first place, with 32% participation, and having raised $9,590 for VLS, is in fact the returning Count Me In champion, the class of 1982.
Somebody that's stupid enough to do it. Right, come on, Jenny, let's go. Here you go, ready? Yeah.
Good job.
Perfect. Thank you.
I also, as it relates to the class of 1982, want to acknowledge an anonymous class member who was inspired to make a $50,000 pledge to commemorate the 40th reunion. We are deeply grateful to all of our milestone class members, as well as every other donor to VLS, for your generosity.
Thank you.
Andy, is it too late to donate?
It is not.
Never too late.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. So while Count Me In has come to an end for 2022, Vermont Law School's fiscal year end does not conclude until Thursday, June 30th. So that's next week. If anyone is so moved to make a contribution to support this incredible place and guarantee perfect weather for all future reunions, please either at the check-in desk pick up a pledge card, or you can go online and give online, track down any staff member and let us know, and we would be happy to help you. We are very close to our annual fund goal for this fiscal year, but could definitely use all of your support, which also helps drive the overall VLS alumni giving rate, which last year was 10.2%. So thank you. And thank you for the planted question.
Most alumni can probably name at least one person who made their time here better or their careers after better. The Board of Directors for the Alumni Association therefore determined that recognizing these individuals would further the Alumni Association's mission to serve and advocate for all alumni while fostering meaningful relationships among alumni and the school. It is in that spirit that the Alumni Association established the Dean Shirley Jefferson Distinguished Service Award. It will serve as a continual acknowledgement of the incomparable contribution Shirley Jefferson has made to the school and establish a way for alumni to express their respect, admiration, and gratitude for all those that dedicated their career to serving Vermont Law School, its students, and alumni. And to unveil this award, the Office of Alumni Relations and Development has prepared a brief presentation. The Dean Shirley Jefferson Distinguished Service Award is given to faculty, staff, or administration members who demonstrated a deep and abiding commitment to the school and the success of its students and alumni. The recipient will have demonstrated through an aggregate of a decade or more of service, a commitment to the school's core values of community, diversity, service, ethics, and justice. Through their work in the VLS community and the world at large, the recipient will have enhanced the reputation of Vermont Law School and its alumni.
I think she's special to VLS because she tirelessly works for this institution. Back several years ago, I was one of the deans, and so I got to work closely with her. She was in here at 7 o'clock in the morning, and oftentimes wouldn't leave till 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And she just is committed to this school, to the students, to the institution, to the staff.
Shirley has her dedication to students and to providing access to legal education has completely transformed the student population that we attract here. One of my favorite stories about Shirley is how many graduation parties she's invited to. So many parents invite her. They fly her out to their child's graduation party, even if it's not in Vermont, because they really associate her with getting their students to the law school and her with supporting the students while they were here, and oftentimes supporting the parents as well.
I mean, she is just always in my heart, and I'm so grateful that she is at Vermont. She stands as a beacon of light and love and hope, and she's someone that we have been able to count on. We know that she loves and protects the school and fights for students who other schools might not give a chance, and then to see them leave and shine means that her investments and that the school's investment was well worth it. And those are the kinds of things that you can't put a dollar value on. There's not enough plaques in the world that you can hang. You just have to be a witness and give that testimony of how she changed us for the better.
When I think about Shirley and Vermont Law School, I think of her as the heart and soul of Vermont Law School.
Congratulations, Dean Jefferson. You are always called the heart and soul of Vermont Law School, and I know that to be true from working and learning from you over my past 11 years at Vermont Law School. You are truly, truly an inspiration.
Congratulations, Shirley, for this award, but congratulations feels a little bit funny because there's no question that you've earned and deserved this award. So in lieu of congratulations, I just want to say thank you on behalf of myself and the impact you've made on me, but also the impact you make every day for students and alumni and the VLS community itself. I've always said that Shirley Jefferson is one of the key ingredients to that special sauce that makes Vermont Law School unique.
Thank you for being you. Thank you for pouring all of your love into us, wishing us success, making sure that we were fed, clothed, had a bed to sleep on, had money for books, had a shoulder to cry on, or a room to laugh in.
Well, Shirley, I want to congratulate you on this very special and important professional accomplishment in your career. It is well deserved. My best to you, and Bonnie also congratulates you as well on as the initial recipient of this award. It is well deserved. So congratulations.
Congratulations, DJ.
So it should be a no-brainer that the namesake for the award fits the criteria for the award. But for the purpose of giving Shirley her flowers, and for informing those of you who don't know, I'm about to put some respect on Dean Jefferson's name. Shirley has had a substantial impact on Vermont Law School, its alumni, and its students for about a quarter of a century, and that's not including her time as a student. At the most basic level, Shirley is an active alum and a leader in fundraising and financial support. Beyond that, when I spoke to my fellow alumni and Shirley's colleagues at VLS, many of them essentially said what Dean Latham said. Shirley's the heart and soul of Vermont Law School. Or as my classmate Kelly Spencer put it, Dean Jefferson, you are a shero to many, herself included. You are far more than just a dean. You've been a second mom, an auntie, a therapist, a comforter, and our biggest advocate. I'm thankful for your example every day. That's just the thing about Dean Jefferson. She's not scared to do the work, clean up the messy, and go that extra mile, or 30, to help Swans succeed. She's rolled up her sleeves to help folks overcome academic probation, mental health issues, and even sometimes legal problems. Shirley is the shepherd, if you will, of our flock of swans, making law school more humane. In addition to caring for and nurturing students, Shirley is also an important member of the faculty. In the whitest state of America, it could not be more vital for Shirley to teach race in the law, especially given her experience with some of the ugliest aspects of white supremacy. Shirley has expanded her scholarship into her Racism Embedded in the Law series and as an award-winning speaker and presenter. Shirley further bolsters the rigor of study at the Vermont Law School, working tirelessly to create a diverse, equitable, and inclusive campus which benefits all students. She not only recruits many to come to Vermont Law School, but makes them want to stay by cultivating an environment where everyone feels safe, supported, and successful. And beyond her local impact on our little nest here in Soro, Shirley models VLS's core values of community, diversity, service, ethics, and justice throughout Vermont and the country. She advises and volunteers for organizations and government bodies to create a more even playing field, both in terms of the practice of law and law enforcement. If I may, I'd like to mix and overextend some metaphors to help describe the effect of Shirley's work over the decades and generations. So the first metaphor comes from the indomitable Shirley Chisholm, who said, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. The second is from political operative Donna Brazil, who said that when she's in a room where decisions are made, she sees it as her job to hold the door open behind her so others like her can come through. In my mind, Shirley has taken it to the next level and taken one of those rolling carts from the church covered with rows and rows of folding chairs and propped the dang door open so that everybody can come through and have a seat at the table. And it is for that reason that Shirley has been locally and nationally recognized for her work of changing the face of law. And in light of these contributions and her deep commitment to VLS and its core values, Shirley Jefferson is the perfect namesake and quintessential recipient of this award. I am proud, humbled, and honored to present the inaugural Dean Shirley Jefferson Distinguished Service Award to the one and only Shirley Jefferson.
I'd like to also thank the other recipients. Peg Megan, who's my classmate. It's like I'm in a dream. I feel like the first day I stepped foot on this campus 40 years ago with $1 in my pocket and nowhere to go. Some of you all remember because you were here with me. And I met Jonathan Chase out there in the middle, and he said, Shirley, you're late. We got a place for you to stay. We got your books. Get on down there. And then I met a man named Gil Kojovic. Gil, how many of y'all know Gil? Had him as a teacher. And no, Lord, Gil, I bet you up there laughing now. Say, that girl done got herself in trouble. He always was said it about me, but he took me and he loved me and he groomed me and he taught me, and he just brought out all the best in me. I knew I wanted to be a lawyer ever since I was a little girl. Growing up in segregation in Selma, Alabama, I tell my students a lot of times, you all read about it, Seeing Bloody Sunday, all of the rest. I said I saw it with my own eyes. I've seen this country at its worst. Gil Kojovic tried to correct what this country did for me. He saw it. This school pumped so much love into me. Vermont Law School is the soul and heart of me. Every day. How many of you all students out there in your dean? Raise your hands. Every day. Y'all know it. I would wake up And you would be the reason that I would get up every morning. Some days I didn't know whether I was going or coming. I made so many mistakes. But I learned from them, and you all work with me. You all helped me. You helped me to grow. We work together. I always set the bar so high for you all. Everything. I want the best for you all. I wanted everything. I've dedicated my life to fighting injustice. I dedicated my life to fight for this law school, to the breath leave out of me. How in the world did a little old black girl from South Alabama get up here in Vermont? And I became a lawyer. And then I became a dean. And then I became a professor. I first came back here in '99, thanks to Kevin Roth. I worked in the alumni office in admissions. Then Nancy White was the only person in the admissions office, and she said, you gotta go out. You gotta recruit. I called one of my brothers and I said, oh my God, I've really done it to myself this time. He said, what you done? I said, I gotta go out and gotta recruit. My brother said, oh, that's easy for you. I said, it is. He said, yes, you love the law school. Just go out there and tell them how much you love that law school. And tell them what the law school did for you. I said, okay, great, that is easy. So all ahead and there, I was reading all the stuff about the programs and this and that. Got up there, got behind my table. I've been rolling for 23 years. And I would just tell them about this little old law school with no red light, with compost toilets, with stain on the carpet in the Chase Center, but was full of love that's instilled in you all. Every last one of y'all love this law school. And your spouses love it, your children love it. And I want to acknowledge my granddaughter, Leah. Are you still here? Stand up. I told her to come. You tell my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, my great-great-great-great-grandchildren about this great country that we live in. This is a great country. I know we're going to make it. We're getting through it now. We're going to make it as a country. We're going to do it. And I'm so happy that I'm a part of it. And I just want to say, I can't thank everybody that helped me, but one thing that I always remember that touched my heart, because I was always fighting for other people, and I really don't like for people to do things for me, was Beth McCormick. Stand up, Beth McCormick. Beth McCormick fought for me. Beth McCormick fought. She wasn't fighting for me to keep my job. That wasn't it. I ain't gonna tell you. She fought for me. Thank you. And I said, sit back and let her. She want to do that. Let people do things for you. It was hard for me to sit here today and to do this because I didn't do this for the money. I did it for the love of the school. I did it for the love of this country. We're able to turn out students who other people don't want. And I did for these students what Gil Kajovic did for me. Yes. And they've gone out. They're judges, they're prosecutors, they're all these things. They're the next generation of leaders. But they'll know what this little old law school has done for them. And that this country, we're gonna make it. But you all get out there and change some of these laws. And just be kind to each other. Kind to each other. Kind to each other. And I love you all, and I want to thank you. If I had 1,000 tongues, I couldn't thank you all a lot. Each and every one in this room, every one of them. Look at you. I tell you, Lord, have mercy. And your mama, I can just tell you, it's just been such a joy. But my journey, I didn't get fired, and I didn't, I just knew it was time for me to go on. And I want to say that I'm leaving this position in a few days. Ashley Zia, stand up, Ashley. Yeah. Ashley will take over the Student Affairs office. And I want my other granddaughter, stand up, Jillian, to stand up. Stand up, that's my other granddaughter. That's Ashley's daughter. She called me grandma. I'm the grandma of the universe. And then I'd like to introduce Dean Lisa Ryan. She's going to be the Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I'm leaving this place in a good kind of hands. And I also want to acknowledge our new president, Rod Smollers. Come on, I want to get your name straight. I messed up names. Thank you for coming in taking a chance on this middle law school. You're gonna do great things.
Yes.
We're gonna do great things together. I'm so proud of the senior leadership. They worked hard on this new structure. I mean, they worked hard. I'm on boards where other people pay consultants to come in and do what we did. We did it because we do it the Vermont way. And we did it. We've done it. I'm so excited about the new structure we have. I'm so excited. And I'm so proud. And I'm looking forward to working and making this school even greater than before. And I love you all, and I thank you. And I thank you. And I will continue to keep each and every one of you all in my heart and in my prayers. Thank you.